Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mic Check podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ, coming to you today to talk about Jaron Boots Ennis. And is it time for the takeover of Boots in the welterweight division? Before we get started, let's go ahead and remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and turn on that notification bell so you'll get the alert whenever new videos drop, which is something we're doing on a regular basis these days, sometimes 2 or even 3 in a day. So we'd love for you to be able to get first access to those great videos. And don't forget to subscribe because we need that. You know what I mean? All right, so let's go ahead and get into it and talk about Jaron Ennis and his path to a championship in the very near future. So, first thing I'd like to say is that he's right there knocking on the door. He's aligned himself to be the mandatory challenger for Errol Spence Jr. in the IBF rankings, and that could potentially happen as early as, let's say, August, maybe even July, depending on when both these guys fight. Could even be April. Just to be honest with you, Jaron Ennis has a fight on January 7th on the Tank Davis undercard, and he could be back in the ring as early as April. He said he wants to fight 3 or even 4 times a year. Hell, he said he'd like to fight every month if he could. Obviously, that's not feasible at a championship level. We would want to see a lesser version of him getting in the ring that often with top guys. However, it's very ambitious and admirable that he wants to do so. So right now, he's really on the verge of becoming that dude at 147. You have Terence Crawford and Errol Spence kind of in the way. I would love to see him fight either or both of those guys at 147 or 147 and 154, however it works out, because I just want to be able to use that as a barometer of exactly how good he really is. And I think he's an excellent fighter. I think he's got the pedigree to be one of the best that ever did it, and he's got the build and stature to climb weights rapidly. Now, guys that come up from like 130 and go up to like 154, I think that's a little bit different path, because while there is power in those divisions, it's not the same as starting at 147 and going up to like 168, where there's significant jumps in power in each division. A guy from 154 going up to 168 can find some problems if he's not a naturally really big dude. But honestly, I kind of feel like Boots fits that bill as a naturally big welterweight. I mean, he's 5'10", 5'11". He probably, if he wasn't 24 years old, he'd probably walk around at 180 pounds easy and could train down to 160, 168 with no problem. But let's talk about where he's at right now, taking up the welterweight, because you got to crawl before you walk, right? And he's crawled his way after 28 fights into an interim title fight against Karen Chikatian. And let's be real, we're expecting a sensational KO, much like we did in the Terence Crawford David Avenue fight. However, the difference is this guy was put in front of Jaron Ennis, whereas David Avenue was handpicked. Now, I'm not going to rank on that for too long, but I did want to compare that because at one point during a conference or during a interview, Jaron Ennis did mention that he feels that he and Terence Crawford are fighting the same level of competition. And if you look at it in black and white at welterweight, it seems kind of true. Except one guy's on his way up the ranking and one guy is sitting atop the rank. So I don't think they should be fighting the same level of comp. Now, with that being said, we need to think about the expectations of Jaron Ennis after the fact. A question that was posed to me on the live broadcast that I did with our sister station, AIM Sports Media, the Angry Man podcast. The question was, would Jaron Ennis remain hungry when he gets to the top? Something that he mentioned was that he had no intention of avoiding up and coming hungry contenders when he finally got to the king seat, championship seat. And I just have to wonder if that's really going to happen. We do all believe, most boxing fans believe, he's going to take over welterweight by the end of 2024, because you just don't see Spence and Crawford staying there beyond 2024. So he'll have an opportunity to either take their belts directly from them or take them from weaker opponents, or just get them in the vacant status somehow. And that would be fine by me. However he goes by, I guess you can only fight whoever's in front of you, right? Especially when you're going after the belts. But once he gets there, is the hunger going to remain? Or is he going to maybe grab the 147s, possibly get a shot at undisputed, even if Spence or Crawford don't do it, and then drop those belts after one defense and use his WBO automatic mandatory to move up and go after whoever is the 154 champ. If there's an undisputed guy, or if there's just a singular WBO champ, he could activate that mandatory challenger clause as a super champion and go right up and make a quest for that belt. I think the WBA has a similar thing, and as long as you have a couple of belts, as long as you're unified, they'll grant you that super status. It changes the way that you could go about mandatories, but it also gives you some grace if you move up or move down. In fact, right now, Hector Luis Garcia is the WBA 130-pound regular champion. So he automatically has a shot at, I'm sorry, not regular, super champion. So he already has a shot at Gervonta Davis' regular title by moving right up as a qualifier. So in fact, if Jaron Ennis was to go ahead and move up, he has an automatic shot. That being said, just something to throw out there we might talk about in another video. Errol Spence is the WBA super champion. He could go up there and fight Jamel Charlo right now if he wanted to. And I think he might even have some pull with the WBC. The only belt that he's kind of sitting on that it's very limited and structured that you can't do anything with is at IBF. And if he stays out on 147, he's going to need to fight Jaron Ennis. But that being said, when Boots gets into the king seat, I wonder if he's going to give young lions an opportunity like he's seeking, because once upon a time, Keith Thurman was pursuing the king seat, and when he got there, he didn't give Errol Spence a shot. And now Errol Spence is in the king seat, and he's not seeming too enthused about giving Jaron Ennis the king a shot. What's going to happen when Boots gets there? That's the question for everybody, and we'll find out in the very near future. We'd love to get your thoughts. This has been the Mic Check Podcast with T-Word People's Champ. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next time I'm out. Peace.